ロビン来やがった。ルフィ、迎えに来たぞ。
From the beginning of his journey, Luffy wanted to have a crew of people who could help him. But beyond that, Luffy wanted to have friends by his side, true allies. For Luffy, the past of his allies mattered little to the companionate relationship they would have throughout the time they spent together. All this because only friendship matters. It's not a sad story, a dark past, nor bloodline that matters, but being a true friend, a nakama. However, due to recent revelations about Dragon and Vegapunk's past, a previously forgotten theory has returned. Maybe Luffy has someone in his gang who shares the same blood with him. And no, I'm not talking about Jinbei. Nico, Robin, and Dragon's past are intertwined due to the events of the Ohara incident, but there is something between the lines that points to the possibility that Dragon is Robin's real father, so Luffy and Robin would be blood brothers. Does this theory make sense? Could Nico Robin's past give us the answer to who Luffy's mother really is? Are Nico, Robin, and Luffy brothers? Stay with me, we'll talk about this now. And well, my dear pirates, it must be common for those who are subscribed here to the channel that I really believe that some factors and moments in the history of One Piece hide the whereabouts of Luffy's mother. And they are, Dragon being part of the Marines, Dragon's troubled relationship with his father Garp, and the Ohara incident. I explained this better in an old video, where I mention all these topics in more detail, but the most important part is precisely the moment in which I theorize that Luffy's mother may have been part of those scholars and teachers from Ohara. So for those who don't understand this theory of mine, it's best to include an excerpt from that video so that everything I'm going to explain in today's video becomes even clearer and self-explanatory. Right, Dragon and Garp. Well, this topic is the shortest because I already covered it in 2 recent videos, so I believe this subject is still very clear in your minds, but to clarify things even more for those who are new to the channel, let's talk about this one relationship between father and son again. The dichotomy between Dragon and Garp is something very interesting and may answer us why Dragon became so vindictive towards the Navy and the world government. There are several theories about the relationship between these two characters. Some say that Garp is not Dragon's real father, and others say that, possibly, Dragon was part of the Navy and found out about everything that happened and then decided to leave the organization against his father's wishes. The truth about what drove father and sons away we still don't know, but as I said in a previous video, if Dragon left Luffy to live with Garp, it's because he trusts Garp. He trusts his father's values even though he is someone who works for the organization that Dragon hates the most. Another interesting theory is that Garp and Dragon are working together, where Garp could be passing all the information from inside the Navy to his son. In other words, both are working together to defeat the world government. So it's pretty clear to me that regardless of which theory is right, Garp being a member of the Marines is not what made Dragon the world government's greatest enemy. Incident in Ohara. Everyone knows that the incident in Ohara, which happened 3 years before Luffy's birth, was one of the triggers for Dragon to start hating the world government. But even before the incident in Ohara, Dragon was already part of the Liberation Army. That is, somehow, Dragon already knew something about the lost century that was the subject that the people of Ohara studied the most and sought to reveal the truth. So this reveals to us that Dragon, even before that terrible event, was already angry with the world government and was already acting in some way. It may be that the scholars and teachers of Ohara were already very close to discovering the truth about the past of that world, or else they discovered the complete truth, but that truth was only revealed to one man: Dragon. This explains why Dragon was furious after the Ohara incident, and also frustrated to learn that Vegapunk was working with the world government, although we now learn that he was also trying to discover the world government's weaknesses from within. Dragon then founded the Revolutionary Army with some powerful friends and swore that one day he would have enough power to subjugate the world government and the Navy. But still, it seems that some information is missing. Something is not exactly clear to me. Well, let's theorize some more. Luffy mother. And well, if Garp isn't responsible for what brought about Dragon's sense of vengeance and justice, and if the incident in Ohara wasn't the only thing that caused Dragon to create the Revolutionary Army, Was his wife responsible for this? Well, Marines or not, knowing the truth of the past or not, Dragon at some point had a wife. And if Luffy was born 3 years after the incident in Ohara, that tells us that his mother had him around 2 years after that incident. However, at no point is it revealed whether his mother was at his father's side throughout this journey after the incident in Ohara, nor if she was part of the scholars and teachers of Ohara or that she was with Dragon at the time of the Liberation Army. That to me only means two things. Either Luffy's mother is of no importance to the story as Oda once mentioned, or else she is the key to something important that we don't know yet. As I said, I already made several theories about Luffy's mother, about who she could be, where she could have come from and if she was alive or dead. But in the last theory I mentioned the possibility that Luffy's mother was the last holder of Nika's devil fruit before Luffy, and that's why we don't know anything about her, because the world government wanted to hide it at the same time that Dragon wouldn't want it either. This was revealed. This is one of the theories that I like the most because it explains many things, including that Dragon and Luffy's mother could have been together for a long time, maybe since they were children. And the fruit of the devil or destiny having chosen Luffy's mother to eat Nika's Hito Hito no Mi opens the way for Oda to be able to answer us the true reason for the hatred that Dragon has for the world government and the Navy. Well, imagine that from a young age, you and your young girlfriend are hunted all over the world? Of course you will revolt. This would even answer because Dragon was already leader of the Liberation Army before the Ohara incident. Probably he and his wife suffered several attacks throughout their journey, from youth to adulthood. This theory can be linked with so many others, including that Dragon was part of the Navy or even that he may hate Garp, who allowed the people who rule over them to attack his son's girlfriend and future wife. Of course, I still like the theory that Luffy's mother has always been on Dragon's side since before the Liberation Army, but unfortunately had to be hidden after the discovery of Luffy's pregnancy, and that from time to time Dragon goes to where she is to see if things are going well. But it's still more fun to imagine that the reason Dragon hates the world government is something that happened to his wife, and that it's not just related to his father or him seeing all the rottenness of the world government from inside the Navy. Anyway, my dear pirates, having understood my line of thought, well, let's now move on to the point where Nico Robin enters this story. Well, Nico Robin revealed to us about her past in that flashback to her childhood in Ohara, and in that flashback we were mentioned about Robin's father. It was said that he went on a journey to uncover the past of that world, but apparently he had disappeared or died, as the crew of that boat talk about how they will go on this journey to fulfill the dreams and desires of Robin's father. So we know that Robin's father wasn't present for some time, and the same happened with Robin's mother, as she also left to uncover the secrets of the past. At that time, Dragon, who had already abandoned the Navy, had become the leader of the Liberation Army, but as we know, after a while, the world government took Robin's mother and destroyed Ohara, and when Dragon returned he saw what had happened, and he became even angrier when he learned that Vegapunk had sided with the world government. An interesting factor in this theory is that both Robin's mother and Dragon left their children behind so that they would not become targets of their attacks against the world government. This parallel between Dragon and Nico Albia must not have been placed in the work by Oda-sensei by chance. And the definitive proof for this theory is the fact that Dragon was after Nico Robin, and when he found her, he kept her under her tutelage and protected her within his gang. In the same way that when Luffy needed help he showed up and protected him from Smoker in Logtown. Of course, many say that what Dragon wanted with the girl was just the fact that she was one of the very few people in the world who are able to read the poneglyphs. However, Dragon treats her in a very affectionate way by calling her the light of the revolution, and that is something very profound coming from someone like Dragon. In other words, Dragon would be Nico Albia's husband before meeting his second wife, a supposed survivor of the Ohara incident, Luffy's mother. And here we return to the excerpt from the old video that I showed you previously. We know that Luffy was born 3 years after the Ohara incident, and it was believed that only Robin would have left that place alive, but it was confirmed that Jaguar D. Sol also survived after being frozen by Aokiji, and this opens up a gap for more people to have survived, and in that midst was Luffy's mother. In this way, Luffy and Nico Robin would be half-brothers on father's side. Of course there are inconsistencies in these theories. One of them would be Dragon's lack of attention towards the girl, as she became a target even when she was a child, as Dragon was always close to Luffy and even left him in the care of people he believed to be trustworthy. Other theories also suggest that Ben Beckman or even the pirate from the Black Ship would in fact be the most likely to play the role of Nico Robin's father, but that is the topic for another video. But I want to know your opinion about everything we commented here today. But of course, if you made it this far, it's because you like the content, so it doesn't hurt to subscribe to our channel and become one more member of our fleet, my dear pirate. And of course, do not forget to press the like button, that helps a lot in spreading the video and the channel, so help us to become the largest fleet of pirates here on YouTube, okay? A big hug for everyone. And until the next video.